Have you guys been thinking about getting a mirrorless camera for your stream? Should you, should you not? I've been getting a lot of questions lately about just that subject, so I figured what better way than to make a video and break it down for you. We're going to break down cost, the lenses that I use, and kind of what all is involved with switching from a basic webcam to a mirrorless camera. Let's get into it. So I am rocking the Sony ZV-E10, and right now the lens that I'm using is your basic kit lens. How much does it cost to get into a Sony ZV-E10? So right now you can get into a Sony ZV-E10, not the Mark II, the original ZV-E10, for about $829. Now that comes with some basic accessories, a memory card, one battery, and that's about it. So you're getting the camera body and a basic kit lens, which is, there's nothing wrong with a kit lens. If you wanted to stream with this lens, it's got a nice field of view, as you can see. It is zoomable, so we can zoom in. All with the camera. So this one is 16 at the widest to 50 at the narrowest. It's a great all-around lens. There's built-in stabilization in the lens, so if you want to use it for vlogging or whatever, you could do that. But there is much better options. Now, one of the must-haves, if you're going to go with a mirrorless camera, you're going to need a way to mount it. There's no better way to mount your camera than to put a cage on your camera and then use a ball mount on some sort of arm. I've used microphone boom arms. I'm using a magic arm, a small rig magic arm right now that works great. And with a cage, you can also put other mounts on it. You can mount accessories if you want to. Right now I have an Arca Swiss plate mounted to the side of mine so I can set it up in vertical mode if I'm shooting anything vertically, like a TikTok shop video or whatever that I want to use this camera for. It's got a extra spot for a cold shoe above the spot that's on the camera for the hot shoe. It's just a great all-around camera. I would recommend it, but is it right for you? That's the question we need to answer today. In order to stream with this camera, it does support USB streaming, which I wouldn't recommend. You're kind of locked in at 720p, I believe. Everything that I send from the camera to the PC for the stream, even if I'm only streaming in 1080p, like you are on TikTok, Kick, Twitch, wherever, you're going to stream in 1080p, but I send everything in 4K. That way, if I record anything, I get that much more quality out of my camera. So everything that I am playing in game is 4K. The camera's 4K. Everything's 4K, and then I send it out in 1080p. But all your clips that you record, you're going to have that much more resolution to play with in the editing process. So it's just something to think about. It's going to save you some money if you stream USB, but you're going to be limiting yourself to a significant quality difference. Another thing you're going to need is some sort of a capture card. I'm using an Elgato Camlink 4K. I found that gives the best overall performance for this camera. Elgato's tried and true. You can't go wrong. You know, the way I look at it is, why buy the cheaper versions when you can just save up a little bit and buy the one that you know is going to work for you. So you're also going to need an HDMI cable. Now the ZV-E10 takes a micro HDMI in the camera. So you're going to need a micro HDMI out to full size HDMI, either cable or adapter. So you'll plug your micro HDMI into the camera. That will go to an adapter or a cable that turns into full-size HDMI, and that will plug into the Camlink. The Camlink in turn plugs into a USB port in your computer. Once you get that into your computer, it will show up like any other webcam. I think it comes up like Elgato 4K web. Elgato 4K is what it comes up on the camera source in like OBS or TikTok Live Studio. It's pretty simple to set up. It's pretty much plug and play, so that's not a problem. Another must-have if you're streaming is a dummy battery. Now you can get a dummy battery for this camera on Amazon for like $30. They're not bad. And all that is it's a battery. It's the same size and everything as your normal battery. You put it in, it's got a cord coming off that goes into a wall plug. That way you can run continuous power. You don't have to worry about your camera dying. Now, if you are streaming USB, the USB will charge the camera, but it charges the camera slower than it drains, if that makes sense. So you're going to be using power off the battery and out of the USB when you're streaming. It just won't drain as fast as if you were just using a battery. Now, some optional things that you can go with. If you want to use this camera for vlogging or anything like that, you can get one of these. You can get like a shotgun mic. Now, this will hook right up to the camera and you get some pretty good audio out of a shotgun mic. Or you can use lav mics like I have the Mayano. They have a receiver that comes with the Mayano that actually plugs into the camera, and I can use a wireless lav mic with my Sony ZV-E10. So now let's get into lenses. If you know anything about cameras, lenses are not cheap, and I have some of the more affordable options because I'm not trying to spend $2,000 on a lens. I'm not trying to spend double the price of the camera for a lens, right? So the first lens I went with, before I knew any better, was the Sigma 30mm f1.4. Now, this is a great lens. If I could get this further away from me, if I could put my camera farther back, this would be a great lens. The problem is it's 30mm, so it's a pretty close up view. But the glass is great. The price is affordable. You can get into this lens for about $350 to $400 for this lens, which still sounds like a lot, but you're not buying all this stuff at once. If you're going to get this camera, start with the kit lens, go from there, you know, as you decide you need lenses. Let's plug this one in and we'll check it out. This is the Sigma 30 at f1.4. So the iris is wide open. So if you can see, it's a lot tighter of a lens. This is basically double what the kit lens is. That one's 16, this one is 30. So as you can see, it's a lot tighter of a shot. Now I could move this back and it would give me a pretty good field of view. All right, so that isn't bad right there. That's not bad right there. So if you're gonna rock this lens, you gotta bump it back a little bit, but that's not bad. This I used this lens for a long time. I just had to push it back. And yeah, this lens is crispy. It looks great. This one's good for when you're out, you know, family videos or portraits or whatever you're doing. This lens works great. I have no problem. And you can see how blurry the background is. It looks awesome, right? It's all defocused. It gives a nice outline around me, and the lighting helps too, but outline around me. So yeah, that's the Sigma 30 f1.2, and this camera has great auto tracking on the face, by the way. It's got a box around my face that just follows me around. So yeah, that is the Sigma 30 f1.4. Now the next lens I went with that I wish I would have gone with in the first place, this is the Sirui Sniper series. This is an f1.2. So if you don't know anything about the F number, what that does is the iris in the lens, how far it opens. So the smaller the number, the bigger it gets. So with a smaller number, you get better low light performance, a lot crispier low light performance. You don't have to turn the ISO up and introduce a bunch of noise to your image. And that's how you get that blurry background. If you can see on this lens, this is no blur at all, because this lens, the lowest it goes is f3.5. So that's pretty much a clear background. It's not defocused at all. And that's how this lens is always going to look. This is about the most blur I can get on the background. It's pretty dark back there, but that's the most blur you're going to get out of this lens. Now this lens is actually really amazing. Now the difference between all these lenses, though, the lens you're looking at me at now, it has built-in stabilization. The camera has no in-body stabilization. This lens has stabilization built in. These are prime lenses. Prime lenses are one focal length only. That said, 16mm, you're going to be at 16mm forever. With this lens I'm on now, I can zoom in and out. It's not a prime lens. For me, this 16mm is the perfect mix between quality and performance for the money. I think you can get these lenses for right about $300 on Amazon. You can get a 3-pack, the three different sizes of lenses for like $700, which is amazing. that's super affordable when it comes to lenses. If you guys start looking into lenses, you'll see what I'm saying. $700 is still a lot of money, but for 3 lenses that are quality like this one, $700 isn't bad. So let's look at the Sirui Sniper f1.2 and you'll see what I'm talking about. Here is the Sirui Sniper. This is my favorite lens. As you can see, we still have the nice de-blur in the background, the nice bokeh, and it's not as blurry as the Sigma because this is an f1.4. That was an f1.2, so a little bit bigger of an iris on the Sigma, but this one we get a wider angle. It's got great autofocus. For the money, this lens is amazing, and be able to get a 3-pack. I think the 3-pack is a 16, a 30, and a 50 millimeter, if I'm not mistaken. And these lenses look amazing too. They just look cool. If you were going to buy just one lens to stream with, I would highly recommend going with the 16 millimeter Sirui Sniper f1.4. And you can't go wrong. It looks good. It's got great autofocus. You can update the firmware through a USB port in the lens. And yeah, guys. All right, guys. So now we're back on the kit lens. You kind of see the difference between all these lenses. Now the question is a mirrorless camera right for you for streaming? Honestly, if all you're going to be using it for is streaming, I would say probably not. Probably not worth the money if that's all you're going to be doing. Because there's some great webcams out there that are a lot more affordable than this with lenses and everything else that will serve your purpose a lot better than this. I would say go with this if you want to get into YouTube, content creation, TikTok shop, anything like that. If you want to use it for other things, if you want to use it for family videos, for vlogging, you want to start vlogging, you know, if you want to use it for other things other than just streaming, I would say go for it. Unless you just want that super crispy stream, then you go for it then too, you know, it's whatever you want to do. Anyway, guys, I hope this helped. I hope this answers some questions about the camera setup and kind of what you're looking at for pricing. I'd say to start, set about $1,000 aside just to get into it. And that should get you going pretty good. So, all right, guys, till the next one. Stay lucid.